Hello, I'm Deb Burdick, and I want to welcome you to our final part of our three-part video training on how to de-stress instantly. In this video, we will talk about ways to transform stress, and I will share with you a relax into the present moment mindfulness technique that you can use to really transform stress. So let's start by talking about, can you change the stressor? I look at this as a two-part process. One is can you change the stressor, and the other part is, can you change your stress response? So can you change the stressor? You made a list of the things that are stressing you, the sources of stress in your life, external and internal, in video 1 and video 2. So now think about, when you look at the list of stressors, are there any that you could change? Now, how could you change them? One would be to eliminate them completely. One would be to avoid them. And one would be to change them somehow. I worked with a man years ago who was very stressed by his new boss. He had been transferred into a new department, and he was working with this boss, and he had become so stressed and so depressed that he would just lay on the couch every evening instead of doing all the things that he loved to do. And after really thinking about it and working with me, he decided to go to human resources, and he found out that there were some other positions that he could apply for, and he transferred into another department, and instantly he wasn't feeling so stressed anymore because he had a different boss that treated him so much better. So looking at ways to eliminate the stressor. Is it time for a new job? Is it time for a change in your business, and maybe eliminating some of the things that you've been doing, or maybe there's some ways that you could ask for some help or hire some help to do some of the things that you don't need to be the one doing, that would really eliminate some of the source of the stress. Maybe you could avoid the stressor. The example that comes to my mind is, if there is a toxic person in your life, maybe you could avoid them a little bit more than you do now, and don't initiate interaction with them as much, and so forth, to just stay away from it. Maybe you don't need to be exposed to that stressor anymore. And how could you change the stressor? Maybe your boss is giving you too much work, and you need to talk to your boss about that and ask for priorities about which work to do. Maybe you're the kind of person in your business where you say yes all the time, and maybe learning to say no and really thinking about whether to take on something new before you accept a new task or a new direction in your business or whatever, to really start to pare things down. Maybe you need to look at how many things there are on your plate and take 30% of them off your plate. And that sounds like a lot, but I'll tell you, you will feel much less stressed if you start to eliminate some of the things that are so stressful in your life. And that is really the first place to start. And now I understand that sometimes there are stressors we can't eliminate. Maybe we have a parent who is ailing, or a sick family member. Maybe they started construction in the lot next door to our house, and for some period of time it's going to be very stressful because they keep waking you up before you need to be up in the morning, or there's dirt and dust flying, whatever those things are. There may be times when you can't change the stressor. So the second part of transforming stress is, how do you change your response to stress, your internal response to stress? I mentioned in video 2 that sometimes, the same stress can be very stressful to one person and not that stressful to somebody else, because of where they're coming from and how they respond to that stress. So here are some ideas about how to change your response to stress. Number 1 is to practice relaxation breathing, which we practice that in video 1, to be able to calm down your arousal state, calm down the stress response. The relaxation breath really does turn down the stress response inside your body. We know it from scientific research and so forth, that it calms down the physiology in your body. So that's a perfect place to start, and to incorporate that throughout your day, every day. It's easy to do. Nobody has to know that you're even doing it. Then the other thing is to become really mindful of your stress response. We talked in video 2 about tuning into how stress shows up in your body, or in your emotions, or in your health, or in your cognitive function. So tuning into when you are responding to some sort of stress, because if you're not aware of it, it's really hard to change. But once you are aware of it, you can start to practice some of these skills to turn that down. Mindfulness of thoughts, becoming mindful of what's going on in your thoughts. We practiced changing the channel on stress mindfulness skill in video 2, which effectively changes what we're thinking about, and to be mindful of what our thoughts are at any given moment, and to be careful to choose thoughts that feel good instead of thoughts that make us feel stressed. Another is the mindfulness of emotions, really tuning into how we're feeling inside and what's going on inside of us. Typically even the emotions will show up in our body first, and then we can look inside to say, well, how am I really feeling about that? What's going on here? How do I want to feel right now? And is it necessary to feel so stressed out, or so angry, or so impatient, or whatever right now? Typically it's not. It just comes from a whole series of events that lead up to that, but generally we can calm that down. We can replace our automatic negative thoughts. When we have a thought that is negative, to start tuning into those negative thoughts and be able to find thoughts that are realistic, that feel better when we think them, to find a thought that feels better. So instead of, I'll never get this project done on time, I'll lose this client, to be able to say to yourself, this is a lot of work, but I will take it one step at a time. I'll break it into little pieces. I'll ask for help if I need it, and I might even ask the client if I could extend the deadline just a little bit because I had some other things come up. Already, don't you start to feel better just by changing what the content of your thoughts is? Exercise is very helpful in transforming stress. Exercise really helps us turn down the physiological response to stress. Think about the fight or flight response. When, back in caveman days, when a tiger was chasing you, you had to run like mad or fight to the death. Your body was designed to generate enormous amounts of adrenaline and cortisol and stress hormones to make you fast and to make you strong so that you could survive. Well, unfortunately, when you're stressed chronically, your body is acting like you're in this flight or fight response all the time, when you're really not. So when you exercise, when you would run to escape the tiger, or you would fight, you would actually lower the stress hormones in your body. So exercise done on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be mega exercise, just going for a 20-minute walk 3 to 4 times a week, getting 30 minutes of exercise, walking instead of riding, climbing the stairs instead of taking the elevator, taking little exercise breaks during the day for 10 minutes, you'll discover that lowers your stress response. Another option is to talk about your feelings and how you're feeling, and not to spend all, going over and over and over, repeating how bad you feel, but sharing how you feel can release the tension a little bit, and then looking for options to change how you feel. Looking at your core beliefs, which we talked a little bit about in video 2, and your attitudes, and maybe your false beliefs and so forth, to really start to make some changes so that they can be more based on the present moment and more reality-based. I would like now to share with you a mindfulness skill called Relax into the Present Moment. It is a present moment awareness skill. It can be called mindfulness of surroundings. In this skill, we will focus on our immediate surroundings, which will calm our mind and body. It brings our attention to the present moment, and it stops that busy mind chatter that's going on all the time when we are so stressed. So to begin, just notice where you are. Whatever your surroundings are, just bring your attention to where you are sitting, while you are watching this, while you're listening to this. You might look in front of you first, and as you do that, just let go of all of the busy thoughts that you might have, the things on your mind about what you have to do later, or what you had to do in order to get ready so that you could watch this video, to just really clear that a little bit. You can pick up all those things later, but for now, bring your attention to this present moment and to my voice and to what is in front of you, wherever you are. Just pay attention to what's in front of you. I will just describe what I see, but you look and see what you see. So I'm looking at a wall in front of me. I'm looking at the outer edges of that wall. I've got a window with a Venetian blind on it. I've got some artwork on the wall. I have a computer. I can see a video camera in front of me. I can see a computer in front of me. You probably, if you're watching this video, you can see me or something else on your computer screen. And then bring your attention to what's to your right and just look what's there. I have a wall, I have a window, I have a piece of artwork with poppies, bright red poppies, a couch, a lamp, and just notice everything's there. I've got an outlet down at the bottom. And now bring your attention to the other wall and notice what's there. I have a bookshelf and a doorway and a TV monitor and a lamp, and now look up and look at what's on the ceiling. Just notice what's there. I see a fan and a light and a vent for the heat and air conditioning and a smoke detector. And now bring your attention to the floor or the ground, wherever you are, and notice what's there. Notice the color of the floor, the texture of the floor. Notice everything there is to notice about it. And now bring your attention to yourself. Just notice how it feels. How do you feel sitting where you're sitting, or standing, or whatever you're doing? If you're sitting, notice how your bottom feels on the chair or the couch. Notice what the temperature of the air is. Is it warm or cool or just right? Is the air moving or is it still? Take a little sniff of the air and notice if there's any fragrance or odor. Now I'll be quiet for just a few moments and just tune into the sounds, whatever the sounds are in your area. Okay, now bring your attention back to me and back to my voice, and I'd like to spend a moment just thinking about what that was like for you. How did it feel? I've asked hundreds and hundreds of people that question after doing that exercise, and the most common response I get is, I feel more relaxed. I feel calmer. I feel good. Occasionally I get somebody who says, I don't know why we're doing this. It was hard for me to pay attention to that. I was easily distracted, and that's okay, because until you understand why these practices are valuable and what benefits you get from them, that's the normal kind of response. Or you may have trouble concentrating, but with practice, we only did it for a few moments. It didn't take us very long. You'll discover that it gets easier and easier. So I would encourage you to practice this mindfulness of surroundings several times each day. Do it when you arrive in a new place, maybe when you sit down at your desk, or when you get to the office, or when you get in the car, or when you go into a store, or when you get home at night, or when you get into bed. Just bring yourself to the present moment. Bring your total attention to the present moment, the now. You could do it when you're driving, or when you're eating, or while you're waiting in line. Especially do it when you're feeling stressed or distracted or anxious, to just bring your attention back to this present moment, and you will start to feel calmer and more relaxed and more able to be present and focus on what you need to focus on. Okay, let me just review what we've talked about in video 1. We talked about the definition of stress. We looked at identifying your sources of stress in your life, and we practiced the relaxation breath to instantly calm your mind and body. In video 2, we looked at the warning signs of stress overload and how stress impacts you. And then we looked at the internal sources of stress that you may be dealing with. And then we practiced a change the channel on stress technique to immediately change the content of your thoughts and to lower your stress level. And now in video 3, we've talked about some ways to transform stress, and we practice a mindfulness of surroundings to relax into the present moment, to just bring you to the present moment and lower your stress response. You can find lots of resources for de-stressing and mindfulness skills for everyday life on my website at www.thebrainlady.com. For stress, anxiety, depression, ADHD, sleep, relationships, healing. There are lots of free resources there, including lots of articles and information, free symptom checklists, some videos, as well as some books, some CDs, and some teletrainings. And I have mentioned throughout these videos, my gift to you is a 25% discount coupon that you can use to purchase either my Transforming Stress teletraining or the Mindfulness Basics and Beyond teletraining. You can find them both at www.thebrainlady.com. Let me just review quickly the Transforming Stress teletraining. In that 3-part teleseries, you'll learn how to recognize and understand stress, when stress is helpful and when it's harmful. Stress can be good for us. What stresses you the most, warning signs of stress overload, and how stress shows up in your body, and being able to identify the internal versus external sources of stress, and then how to change the stressor, how to change your response to the stress, and then the majority of the time we will spend on techniques, skills, and activities for relationship stress, financial stress, work stress, and health stress. So we have a lot more time to go into a lot more detail than we did on these small videos. The Mindfulness Basics and Beyond teletraining, during that intensive 3-part training, you will learn what mindfulness is, how it works, and why you should care. We will cover the extraordinary benefits of mindfulness and why you need it. Look at the basic mindfulness process, how to breathe mindfully. And after taking that training, you will know how to breathe in a way that turns down the stress response. You'll be able to slow down, calm down, and be more present. And you'll be able to change the channel in your mind, reduce the mental clutter, and really gain clarity. You'll have more energy, you'll sleep better, improve your mood, your outlook, and your general well-being. You'll be able to decrease your worry and disengage from that inner critic that we've talked about. Disentangle the present from the past so that you can be more present. Concentrate better, be more mindful when you're eating, driving, working, making love, whatever it is you're doing, to be more present and to really enjoy every precious moment of your life. Thank you. I've really enjoyed being with you and sharing this information with you. If you have any questions or if you need a speaker or training, please contact me via my website at www.thebrainlady.com. Have a wonderful day.